All right, we are live. It's the Spinning Backfist MMA show. Hold on, I'm using the wrong mic. Boom. Do I sound crisper there? It's the Spinning Backfist MMA show for Friday, April 26th. It is Robbie Fox, Jack Mack, and Big Ev. As always, we're here to break down this weekend's UFC card. Also, we've got a lot of fight announcements, I feel like, since we last did a show, so we could talk about that a little bit as well. How we doing?
Good. It's definitely like we're in a kind of a weird spot right now in the fight world. There's a lot being announced in the future. There's a lot of kind of looking back at what happened. We have a decent card this weekend, and then we have Colby Covington, Ian Gary going at it. We have this Connor card coming up, and a lot of interesting fights. And then specifically, I mean, 302 is looking loaded as well. So the summer's looking good. And then we just had this, and it's great. Like, we're not really like the MMA versus boxing guys. We like both. Boxing just had like one of its biggest moments in a while.
Yeah, Ryan Garcia. He pulled the wool over all of our heads. Is that the phrase? I mean, like, now that being said, he's had some tweets and videos after the fight where I'm like, maybe he just is crazy. I can't tell if this guy's crazy or if he's kayfabing all of us.
He's crazy.
I think he's
I,
probably crazy, right?
I think it's a little both. Like I do think he was I do think he duped us, but he also admittedly was like, no, I was drinking during this camp.
Yeah.
Like he like said, I like to drink. Like I don't I think he was I do think he was duping us in the sense of like I think he purposely was like being like Bohemian Grove and like saying things like that he knows like people just go crazy over. The thing I'm most curious about, I said this to Jack the other day, and there's no confirmation of it to this point. The rumors that he bet 2 million on himself. If he actually did that, he is a genius, truly a genius. If he gave up like even like him giving up the 3 pounds and giving up 1.5 million of his purse, I think regardless, I don't know what his like win show was or how like that all his contract was structured. But I mean, if he made this, regardless of that, if he made this bet, I mean, he made out like a fucking bandit, like
Yeah.
a bandit.
And
He
now
invested in himself. Some would say.
his stock has never been higher, I would say, in terms of everyone knows who he is now. Even the Tank fight was huge, no doubt. But this is like him winning this fight after all of the antics. His next fight's going to be fucking massive. And then he's already calling out Sean O'Malley, and Sean O'Malley's calling him out. And they're trying to get that going. But I don't think that'll be next if it does ever happen.
Now, that's something that I feel like is so far away. Ryan has a lot of like even I mean he doesn't have not that it really matters, but he doesn't have the belt like he's the belt's still
Yeah.
Devin's and then I mean the champion has a name and it's him, but like he doesn't have the belt. There's some other fights out there for him. And it'll be interesting to see what happens with Devin Haney. But Ryan Garcia is one of the biggest stars in sports now. He's like he's kind of the face of boxing, to be completely honest. Outside of maybe Tyson, I would even say he's like the face of boxing.
I said this on Twitter. People got mad about it. I'm curious. Well, I guess let me ask the pay per view numbers. Have they come out yet?
No, I didn't see him if they did.
Because
like
I said after the fight, I think now after that performance, that lead up, everything, the promo, I think right now today he is a bigger draw than Tank, and people hated that because obviously he just lost to him, and I get that, but I'm not talking.
I think you're right.
Who's the better boxer? I'm saying who's the bigger draw, and I want the pay per view numbers to come in because I can have real like hard proof that it's the case.
Yeah.
Because Tank has fought on a lot more pay per views. And a lot of people were trying to pull the card on me that he has the biggest boxing gate, or maybe it's gate at Barclays, which is where this fight happened, obviously. And obviously it wasn't. Tank did a bigger gate at some point in the recent past, but Tank's done a bunch of pay per views. They all were like 200K to 300K, pretty much like maxed. The one with Garcia did 1.2 million, and I want to see this one. Like, if this one did like a million or even close to it, I think there's like it's a no. Like, I think then like my case is like etched in stone.
I'd be stunned if this did a million. To be honest,
there was even if it did like 700 plus, there was so much like around this, like so many casual people that don't care about boxing at all were tuned into this fight, whether they bought it or illegally streamed it. I don't know. I'm sure a lot of that happens, but I think that happens every time, no matter what. I'm sure that happened a ton for the Garcia Tank one in the first place.
Yeah.
So I just want to see the numbers because I really think that if he did like 700 plus, he's showing like I can like Haney's, no disrespect to Haney. He's not a draw. No one cares when he fights or doesn't fight. When he can't fought Cambosis the second time, I like didn't even know what was like going on. And I like do like genuinely like watch boxing. I like knew what was going on, but you know what I mean? Like literally no one gave a fuck about it. No one cared.
Yeah.
They cared because Garcia was involved in the promo. And now I think if they do the Tank Garcia fight again at a bigger weight, it would be massive. I don't know if Tank will do that. Like Tank made him fight at he made him jump through hoops, fight at 136, rehydration clause. Like he's talking about going up to 147. Like 136 is an insane cut for him. Like if they fought at like 145, I think people would be like fired up for that for a rematch.
Yeah, there was a guy who tweeted that Ryan it had 215 to 225,000 buys. However, Ryan Garcia responded to that and said, and I quote, shut the fuck up, laughing face emoji, laughing face emoji. So I guess Bob Arum said like the pay-per-view numbers weren't weren't great, but I don't even know. Was Bob Arum a part of this promotion?
Wasn't it Eddie Hearn?
Yeah, I thought Hearn was.
Despite significant free pre-fight buzz and anticipation, the pay-per-view sales for the Zone headliner have been labeled as very disappointing by top-ranked chairman Bob Arum. But that could be Bob Arum, like there's always beef.
He's a curmudgeon.
But also, isn't the whole point? Top Rank is like a competing company with DAZN.
Yeah.
Like that's literally like the like head of like Nike saying Adidas sales were trash.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like I feel like that doesn't like that means I would like to see. Listen, I probably was just saying 1 million, but even if he did like 600,000, 700,000, that's like triple what Tank usually does.
Yeah.
So before we hold court,
before we go further in fight announcements and the Ian Gary, Colby Covington stuff and whatnot, let's tell everyone about New Amsterdam Vodka, one of our favorite sponsors, of course. Find your wins with New Amsterdam Vodka. While making great vodka is their passion, they're always impressed by those who stay true to who they are and share an unbridled passion for everything they do, from pursuing their dreams to celebrating with friends to having an epic night out. That is why New Amsterdam is the official vodka of Barstool Sports. We love New Amsterdam. Jack's got the Pink Whitney there. Their regular vodka is amazing as well. All their products, really. You can't go wrong with New Amsterdam. And you see them in the UFC octagon now all the time.
Yeah, shout out New Amsterdam. Phenomenal stuff. It will be there. It will be a part of the MMA. That's what I think about New Amsterdam.
Got the fireworks. Yeah.
It is phenomenal. We love New Amsterdam here. Thank you for sponsoring the show and being such a huge part of Barstool. Phenomenal. Shout out New Amsterdam as always.
That's right. We love New Amsterdam. Now let's get into some of the UFC stuff. You brought up right off the top, Jack, the Colby and Ian Gary thing. Ian Gary actually quote tweeted a spinning back fist tweet when we put out that the co-main event for 303 is official. Jamal Hill, crazy fast turnaround. He signed the contract 3 days after UFC 300. Insane. We tweet out, all right, co-main event is official for UFC 303. Ian Gary quote tweets it. He said something like, it's a featured bout, not the co-main event or something. And then put out like a DM that he sent Colby where he's like, hey, you pussy, you can't talk all that shit and then run for me. I'm sure your knee's fine or something. And then he he tweeted something along the lines of Colby Covington is ruining UFC 303. This is a tricky one for me because I think UFC 303 it'd be awesome to have the double Irish fighters on the main card. Obviously, everyone's going to travel from Ireland regardless because it's a McGregor fight. But him saying that he's ruining 303, crazy to me. I texted you guys, like, does he think that people are going to like be outraged and be like, oh my God, he ruined the card? Like, dude, McGregor's in the main event. Nobody really cares who the rest of the fights are.
I don't blame Ian Gary. He just wants to be on the McGregor card. Like he's
Yeah.
not rooting 303. He's rooting Ian Gary's 303.
He's ruining
like,
Ian Gary's dreams. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's not like like the same pay-per-view buys are going to be what they are. There's
Dude,
like
you could
this
put
fight,
this weekend's fight night card with McGregor and Chandler at the top. They'd be the same.
it would be it doesn't matter. I mean, it's just neither of those guys are bringing in anybody. Specifically with the fall off of Colby Covington, and then I mean Ian. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's nothing much to say. He's ruining Ian Gary's 303. He ain't ruining 303. It's just Ian Gary's plan, his master plan, which is probably Layla's.
Yeah, I think we've gotten, especially these last like few cards, we've gotten spoiled with how stacked they are. That people forget like these. Once McGregor became like the superstar that he is now, I mean, most of his cards have not. They're usually not like the greatest, like name brand stars.
No,
like I mean, think like the last. What was the first time he fought Poirier? Which I mean by first, I mean like the second time. The first time, like in the last like few years.
yeah.
It was Chandler. It was Chandler making his debut against Hooker, which is a good fight. But Chandler's like a way bigger star than now than he was then. That was kind of where it started, obviously. And like I can't even remember what was like the other like.
Dude, I just looked it up. The rest of that main card was Jessica Ai versus Joanne Wood.
Oh my
Andrew
God.
Sanchez versus Muradov, and Marina Rodriguez versus Amanda Hebos. That was the main card.
Ugh.
That like that's what we're talking about though. Like,
yeah, that's brutal. That's legitimately brutal.
Yeah.
I think the next one when they fought, like the third one was like Greg Hardy and Tuivasa, I think was on that main card.
It was, yeah.
And that was really when
this one's a little better.
That was when Bam Bam became like a big star.
Yep.
Like he really wasn't a big, like he became significantly more mainstream from knocking out Greg Hardy. Like that was huge for boosting his profile. Before that, he was not like that aged well, name wise, just because Ty's become a star, but he was not one to the degree he is now at that time.
And then the rest of the main card, this one is better. The co-main event was Gilbert Burns versus Stephen Thompson. So you get Wonder Boy, you get like that moment. Aldana versus Yana Santos. Okay. Aldana got a knockout in that one at least. And then the opening of the main card was O'Malley versus Moutinho.
Yeah, so even you threw O'Malley on there, which is smart, but yeah, like bad like just not a good matchup.
Yeah.
And then everyone just rejoiced seeing Greg Hardy get knocked out, America's favorite.
Yeah, that was an all-time moment. I mean, that was one of my favorite moments I've been there live for, is seeing Greg Hardy get knocked out there.
Yeah,
I don't think like for a McGregor card, I don't think I don't hate that thought by Mitt Romney. I don't know. I could actually see them doing that. I think that would actually make sense.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like get him a little bump. Like if he was like the pay-per-view opener, or something like that wouldn't shock me. But
they like to give some people a bump like that.
Yeah. They usually do. Like that's where like they try to kind of handpick those guys. Like O'Malley, obviously, we talked about. I don't think Jamal Hill Roundtree is like the worst co-main event for a McGregor card.
I think it's a good one.
And I think, like obviously understand like they're not like superstars, but like I think people like know Jamal Hill.
Definitely.
And obviously he just headlined 300, obviously. And like regardless of what we think about Jamal Hill turning around too fast or not, like someone's getting knocked out, I think. I'd be shocked if someone didn't get knocked out.
I think and if someone doesn't get knocked out, it's going to be one of those, how did one of these guys get knocked out? Like absolute slobber knockers, I think.
Yeah, I would think so. Or because the way the two of them fight, like I don't think it's not going to be boring. Like Jamal Hill, like is going to like trade for better or for worse. I think he will trade.
I would love to see Peyton Talbot on 303. The UFC's Caleb Williams. Give him the push. It would be phenomenal. Peyton Talbot becomes a star. I think if he really gets on a run here, Peyton Talbot has, I think, like real star potential. And it may be because people get mad about him being a star, but he's Caleb. He could be the Caleb Williams of the UFC. And I think the UFC recognizes that. I don't know if he'll be able to I don't know if his skills will be able to take him that far, but he has like a whole like not a hole like
Yeah.
that. That tattoo,
A hole.
Ab
Yeah.
described it's like an anime tattoo. He's the Caleb Williams of the UFC. We love it.
He's our first like Gen Z emo fighter.
Yeah. What were the other announcements? I could go back through the group chat.
A lot of big so for St. Louis, Buckley Ruzabov, which
Buckley-
Ruzabov
Yep.
going down to 170, which I was super surprised at.
Yeah.
Because he's 6'5", like he's a big guy.
He's gonna
But
be
I love
huge.
the fight. And I think it shows the way they feel about Ruzabov, that they think like Buckley's obviously coming off the Luque win, which was a weird fight. I think Luque's old, but he is ranked like 11th now or something like that, like 11th, 12th Buckley. So I think the win, like they're basically setting it up where it's the co-main event. Buckley's from St. Louis. So he asked for the hometown on the 300, the media day. He asked for it. He got it. And the winner of this fight, I think, will get a big fight. So I think especially Bruzo, I would think he's confident he's going to make weight. Obviously, he took the fight, and it's not like it's in. I guess it is sort of close. So it's May 11th.
It's
So I
pretty
guess
soon, yeah.
it's not super far away. It's only a couple weeks, like 2.5 weeks. But I like that, and also the Louisville card basically got announced,
Yep.
and that card looks pretty stacked. Like they're putting
That
together
one
some good
is
fights.
that one is headlined by Jared Cannonier versus Imavov.
And
Hell
then
of a
Dom Reyes versus our guy Justin Jacoby.
Yep, that's a great
Very,
fight.
very good fight.
That
Lee put
one
the
is
whole.
also
There's a lot. I think like Louis Voigt Klein
Yeah.
and Thiago Moises, good fight.
Yep. Rosas Jr. versus Tercios. Radke versus Protz.
I
Great.
love that fight. I love that fight.
Marcos
I like
versus
practice a lot.
Castaneda.
I want
That's
to.
a really good
I'll put
card.
something in the air. I'll pre-say this. Practice is like a big knockout here from like becoming one of my guys. I need to see a little more. Need to see a little more, a little bit more.
Did you see?
But I like him. I like Prades a lot.
The Nevada Sports Athletic Commission is holding Diego Lopez's money because
Diego
he jumped
Lopez
over
and Arman. Arman's a little more understandable. Still, it's
Arman
weird, but it's
punched
like,
a
Arman
fan.
punched the fan. Yeah.
Diego Lopez jumped over and talked to like Hunter and Dana.
And you could see in the video when he wins, he looks at Dana and says, like, can I come over? And Dana's like, yeah. Dana will figure that out.
I get it if he ran into the crowd or something. Like, no, he literally didn't. He left the cage, but he didn't leave like the cage floor, if you know what I mean. Like it extended.
The platform, yeah.
Platform, thank you. Yeah, I know that they hate. I guess they're probably just trying to send a message. They'll give him his money eventually, but it's dumb. Yeah,
crazy. Yeah.
If they don't give Diego Lopez
that's borderline communist.
If they don't give Diego Lopez his money in a timely manner, he's gonna have hell to pay from me. I'm gonna find out the name of these guys in the commission. I'm gonna harass them until Diego Lopez, our future champion, gets his money. Yes. That guy is going to be knocking on the Nevada Commission's front door. I'm going out west this week. I'll make a pit stop in Nevada. I'm going to bang on the door and give my guy his money, his win, and his show because he won with an incredible knockout, or I'm going to go ape shit. Give this man his money. They're robbing him.
This has to be a bit. Hot Billy.
It has to be a bit. But you know what? Hot Billy's the best in the business because, like, I read that and I'm like, I don't know, maybe he did, right? Like that's like.
But Hot Billy drops in comments the way like Action Bronson raps. Like he does the most like he paints a picture.
This is very interesting. There's a manager of an Arby's restaurant group named Ryan Hall, but like, it just can't be. I want to see if this guy's
Billy's the best. This guy cracks me up. Also, UFC 302, Tatsuro Taira versus Joshua Van.
Oh, that's a banger.
Really good fight.
Yeah.
302. 302 looks good. I'm very excited. Very excited.
302 is very good.
This isn't Ryan Hall. I'm looking right now. I'm gonna take a screenshot and show the chat. I'm looking at a Ryan Hall that owns. He's a manager at an Arby's. I'm going to show you right now.
I
Show
was
the
picturing
chat.
Ryan Hall like doing jujitsu, and then
Oh,
It's not
can
him.
be.
It's not him. But
Pop Billy might have created that just for the bit.
he's
I,
not
here's the
confirmed
thing.
nor
I
denied.
don't.
That it's Ryan Hall.
I wouldn't put it past him. This guy's been that guy's been manager at Arby's for 8 years and 10 months, according to
Ooh.
LinkedIn. So that would be a long bit for Hot Billy, but I wouldn't put
It
it
would
past him.
be.
I mean, the amount Ryan Hall fights, it might be true.
Also, just a funny story from today that Lee sent us in the group chat. Iridium Sports Agency, one of the top, I would say, MMA agencies out there. I think they have Raul Rosas Jr. They signed a 13-year-old today. 13-year-old super prospect, Talon Warden, the youngest athlete to ever sign with the company. 13.
MMA has a baby Gronk now. I mean, we gotta.
Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah, it's kind of is MMA going to become the new soccer in that way? Don't they get kids from the academy super young in soccer, crazy young, even younger than 13?
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, I think this shows how much the sport's evolving.
True.
I think we're getting
I guess it is. You walk a slippery slope with kids taking head damage.
That's the discussion, but
yeah, true, definitely fair.
I think a lot of the amateur kids, they don't do head.
They do headgear and shit, right? And then they do. I think they still do kick pads.
They do kick pads, and there's that video of that kid walking in, and he has it's an amateur.
Yeah.
It's not even amateur. It's and he's it's funny, and then they wear a lot of headgear, and then I don't even think they may do MMA without head punches, or maybe they only do it maybe once a month or something.
That'd be fascinating to watch. Take two guys in the UFC, not big names, but good fighters, and just put a crazy rule set on them for one pay-per-view. Just say no head punches. Let's see how this fight goes.
Well,
just ripping body shots for 3 rounds.
We saw it. We saw half of it. What's his name? Gracie. He didn't know
Gracie. He didn't know punches.
He handicapped himself.
He forgot that punches. He turned off punching sliders on UFC 5. He forgot.
What else? Anything else before we get into this weekend's card?
I think that was all pretty much the bigger fight
that was all the fight announcements, right? Yeah. Before we get into this weekend's card, this is a good opportunity to remind everyone about DraftKings, another one of our favorite sponsors here at the Spin and Back Fist MMA show. And DraftKings, not only can you bet on MMA with them, but you could bet on NBA as well. NBA, NFL, NHL, anything you want, basically. The 82-game preseason is in the books. It's finally time for the real season. Don't miss out on any of the NBA playoff action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. From the play-in tournament through the finals, from every opening tip to every buzzer beater, DraftKings Sportsbook has got you covered with same-game parlays, live betting, odds boosts, and so much more. And if you're new to the whole sports betting thing, it's super easy to get started. Try betting on something simple like a team to win. Go to the app, select your team, place your first bet. It's that simple. I would probably bet on the Knicks. Bing bong. And here's something else to sweeten the deal for all new customers. Bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. New customers, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code BACKFIST. That's code BACKFIST to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Yep. Shout out DraftKings. Obviously, Av does a lot with DraftKings, Pick Central, whatnot. We do a lot for the betting, and obviously we'll be using DraftKings this weekend for all the UFC, and it has the best lines, the best layout. It's very easy to use. We love DraftKings.
Props as well. Always have all the props. Some of the other books don't always have it. So DraftKings, best in the biz.
Hot Billy said Lee had a bomb DK lineup for 300, but Hill screwed him. Brutal.
That's how it goes that.
All right. Let's talk about this weekend's card. It's Nicolau versus Perez. One of those cards where it'll get shit on from people that are there's no name value, no nothing, whatever. Pretty enjoyable card, I think, on paper. I think it's pretty well put together, good matchups.
This has this future of Chinese fighting.
Yeah.
She's back. I mean, show some respect.
Yeah.
I like the matchups quite a bit on the main card.
Yeah, the prelims, some of the prelims are, they're all right.
I actually
Trying
don't
to be
mind the
nice.
first fight of the night.
First fight of the night is Mahashate versus Gabriel Benitez.
The plus 500 legend Mahashate on
Yeah.
Dana White Contender Series. We'll never forget. The people will never
spinning
forget.
back fist legend. Yeah.
There was just no tape on him. Just a dark throw that why is he plus 500 in a fist fight, basically.
Yeah.
He's a big favorite here.
I was gonna say,
and I'm actually curious Jack's thing. I'm gonna guess. I kind of have a feeling Jack might take a shot at Benitez, but I'm not. I'm like it's like one of those where I think like Mahashate wins, but I don't really have interest in laying minus like 245 on him.
Yeah.
He's
the only guy in DraftKings with one name this card, by the way.
He's a one name guy, one name fella.
Yeah.
He's pretty young too, which that's the part where like maybe he's able to find the knockout here. Like he's getting older. Like you see guys like that make like those big jumps early in their career. But I'd say maybe like a parlay piece. I would say I'm picking Machate, but definitely wouldn't like lay him on the money line straight.
Yeah, I don't have the biggest read here. Maybe I will. I think Mahashate. This is a fight that I just wanted to check. I'm pulling up DraftKings as we speak. I just wanted to look at some of the props here, and I mean, I think fight ends inside the distance or like even like an under 2.5. That is juice though. But I think if you like either of these guys, I would just take them inside the distance. Like I think this fight's gonna end. And they're starting off with this is a banger, and I think you're gonna find Machate. I'm just looking up his Tapology really quick. Because I think both these guys, and you don't always want a Tapology cap, but like most of these guys. Oh, I forgot. Machate's second fight in the UFC went to decision, but Benitez last few, like round 3 loss, round 1 win, round 1 win, round 3 loss, round 1 win. The last time he went to decision was right after COVID. So I think there's going to be some violence here.
And then the next fight, I feel like we should start with you again, Jack. We should just throw right back to you because it's your girl, Na Liang, versus Ivana Petrovic.
Here's the thing. I look at this fight. How does it go the distance? I don't know if it's possible.
You don't know if it's I think it's possible. I think it's
no, I don't think it's possible. Na Liang has fought professionally 26 times. She's gone to the decision once. She's kill or be killed. And I don't see it happening. Ivana either, but just from a betting perspective, it may be possible that Na Liang's a bit undervalued. I'm not going to say I'm going to bet her, but she could. Na Liang inside the distance 5-1. I don't know. It's like is it possible? Am I a crazy person for even considering it? I don't know.
Plus 380 money line for those curious.
Jack, when you said the Na Liang undervalued, I was laughing partly because I'm like, I think I might agree, but I'm not betting it, and I'm also like, Petrovic is minus 165 inside the distance.
Yep.
Like that's a number on Ivana Petrovic that I just, in good consciousness and good,
you would
faith,
never expect to see.
Cannot not only not take myself, but in good faith cannot advise to our viewers. I mean, listen, I haven't been great gambling on MMA this year in general, but I certainly did just like that's just a crazy number. Even though I agree with like Na Liang. I mean, I remember that fight. I don't think it was her last fight, the one before. I mean, she's shooting takedowns and from across the cage, getting like viciously knocked out. Just, I mean, she will go with that chin straight in the air, and she will come right after you.
Goes out on her shield.
And
Warrior
listen, if
spirit.
you want to have, if you're a guy like myself who like likes to have action on basically every fight, under 1.5 is plus 110. I mean, I'm not going to tell you stop, but I mean, I just couldn't lay that price in good, even though I think it's probably going to happen.
Yeah.
Just by principle, I just can't do that. I can't do it. Can't do it. And Goodfellas like, he's Henry. I just can't do it. Can't do it.
The next fight on the card is Chris Padilla versus James Lontop. Is this the debut for James after Contender Series? I think it is.
Yes, he was supposed to fight Gabe Green, and Gabe Green was moving down to 155, and then he got hurt or something and pulled out.
So now Padilla is plus 320 and Lontop is minus 410. Huge odds on the first couple fights of the night. I mean, it kind of continues on the next fight as well. I didn't realize that.
This is
A
like
lot of heavy favorites on this card.
This is like one of those where I think physically you'll see like Padilla's very underwhelming physically, respectfully. Just looking at him, like you won't be wowed. I think he's taken on short notice to begin with. But also another just laying minus, again, it's like laying minus 400 with Lantop is just the guy making his debut is scary. But the betting people definitely respect him because he was essentially a pickup against Gabe Green, who's like been in the UFC a long time, has like clearly fought like much better guys than Lantop has in his career. So another one where like if you're looking for something, I guess I would say Lantop like parlay piece. Maybe like let me even see what his inside the distance. I'd have to imagine is juiced also. I mean, yeah, even by knockout he's minus 135. Like if you really want to take like a shot at that, I guess. Yeah, like inside the distance, he's minus 150. Probably rather do that instead of the knockout, like just to like protect yourself. Something crazy happens, but another one where it's like two guys that are really making their debut. Just kind of a tough read a little bit here.
For sure.
Yeah, I agree. I like theoretically Lontop may be a little wide. Like minus 410 for a guy that, this isn't a guy that's going to go in there and he could finish Padilla, but he's not. I don't know. It's just like I look at Lantop and we saw him on Contender Series and he won via unanimous decision. It's not like this guy's a killer. And he does have a great nickname, Goku, but Padilla's not anything that really. Just his last win was against Justin James, who was in the UFC for a little bit, right? Yeah.
He was the one who bet all on himself and lost, like bet his whole himself.
Yeah,
that's real tough. I forgot about that.
Yeah, so I think it's possible. He was preparing for a fight in a month. He's taking this on short notice, obviously. I don't think I'm going to get there, but I'm not going to be laying Lantop minus 410 for sure.
What do we got next on the card? Oh, next on the card is Marnik Mann versus Ketlin Souza. Another one where Souza's minus 380. It's like hard to lay. Hopefully a couple big finishes in these fights. Like when you put together fights like that, I don't know though.
This, not gonna lie, I always gas up the main card for in these first 4 or 5 are rough.
Yeah, rough. I didn't realize all of them were like heavy favorites.
When you go like have cards like we had for 298, 299, and now you're like the first card after 300. This is kind of what when you have just stacked cards like that.
Leftovers.
You're gonna have a few of these left. So listen, these fights are better than no fights.
Always.
I'm gonna watch them all. I'm not gonna complain, but we're just talking. For me, just not a lot of. I don't see a ton of betting angles. I'll enjoy watching them. I just love to have actions, and I just don't see a ton of like good betting options here. I'm just being completely honest, but fight like I said, MPI said it. I agree. Any fights better than no fights. I will watch.
Yeah,
but I would say I have not gonna have a play here. Probably just don't at this level of women's MMA. Like laying minus 380 is just not something I want to do. Or no.
Yeah.
Um, this is like I don't really even know what to say about this fight. Marnik man,
I was gonna
Marnik
say,
man.
my bad. Any feel on man? Like you think any chance?
No, what I was gonna say is she she stinks. Like she's from Montana. She's small. Like she should be like she fights like she should be fighting at atom weight. Like she's like small.
You said she's from Montana, like it's like she gasses or something.
Her
Like she has bad
affiliation
cardio. That's
is
one of your bad
Montana.
stats.
No, like where she trains is Montana mixed martial arts. I'm sorry. Like
Okay. They're like, she's from Montana, so she can't be good.
That was
No.
very. I do that. That's very like East Coast elitist of us.
Yeah.
I'm like that big time. Like I don't. Yeah, no.
No,
I'm-
this
You
guy,
might have
like,
said that about Arkansas, and then Thug Nasty came along.
I'm sorry. It's Marnik man, and then she's her nickname. Her nickname's the Sawed Off Savage. I mean, come on, like this is like, and then you have
I like that
Caitlin,
nickname.
It's pretty good.
I kinda
and then
like it.
Caitlin Souza. I mean, what are you supposed to say about her? She just got knee barred. Like she should win, but like I'm not laying. Like she could be walking around the ring and tear her ACL for all I know. Like this is like just like what are you supposed to say about this fight?
The next fight's pretty good though. Next fight
Yeah,
on the
no,
card.
like
Is it?
I mean, like in the sense
That's up for interpretation, I would say, but sure.
I think
Best
in the
fight so
sense
far on
that
the card.
it's not just an obvious, like you know how it's gonna go before it happens.
Definitely the best. Yeah, all right, fair enough. I bet best fight in the card so far, and best like close betting line. Sure.
Yes.
Couple big boys.
It's a heavyweight bout between Dontel Mays and Cal Machado. The line on this one, like I said, closer. It's almost a pick 'em. Mays is minus 102, Machado minus 118.
Jack, I want to give you the floor first.
I have no real play on this, to be
no,
honest.
I mean like Dontel Mays has been dead to me since the Hamdi the Hamdi fight. It's been 2 years. He's been dead to me since then. He is a guy that you look at and you're like, this guy should be good. And he stinks. Like he's just not good. And then like this is I would line it this way too. Like the line makers probably look at both these guys are like, what are we supposed to do? And then they just make it minus 110. Then somebody bets like a Machado, and then another person bets Dontel Mays, and they're just like, we're just gonna keep it here. And then like this is a tough, like I mean it's heavyweights, so you know. But like just to put it in perspective, that we are looking at a fight here between Chao Machado and Dontel Mays, right? This is at heavyweight, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Over 2.5 is minus 175 on the over by the good people at DraftKings. Speaking of great nicknames, Dontel Mays' nickname on Tapology is Lord Kong. Lord Kong. I forgot that they gave Dontel Mays the win against Augusto Sakai. They no, against Andre Arlovsky after the Augusto Sakai.
Oh, yeah.
Rodrigo Nascimento. I like this fight's going to go to. It's going to be the worst fight on the night. I think
this fight's going to be the worst fight of the night. No.
Yeah, worst fight of the night actually.
No way.
Dontel Mays just humping his face at the end of a boring, sloppy 3-round heavyweight fight. There's a sick, twisted part of me that kind of like if I had to pick it, I would pick Mays. But I just can't. Like it's another one. Like I just don't. Like you never feel good betting Dontel Mays.
No,
like you never. Like you know what? Like you don't wake up and be like, you know, I love Dontel Mays tonight. Like I love this. Like no, that doesn't happen. And I just, God, I like because even Machado on the Contender Series, like I'm not like a believer in Machado.
So to be honest, if there's a play here, it's probably Dontel Mays. Yeah, I think it's probably Dontel Mays. I mean, it sucks, but like it's like it just is like. But I don't think I'm gonna bet it. Maybe we get to the fight, but I don't think I can tip it to like the people.
Then we've got, I think, kind of an interesting one in the lightweight division: Austin Hubbard versus Mikhail Figlik. Hubbard plus 145. I don't hate that. I like Austin Hubbard.
Yeah, I mean,
Go ahead, Jack. Go ahead.
Austin Hubbard, it's interesting.
Plus 250 via decision. That's a little enticing to me.
Yeah, I don't have any right away. I think you're right though, Robbie. If anything, these two are gonna kind of go at it for the full 3 rounds. I know that's that's what the odds are suggesting, so we're not really saying anything crazy, but I think like even if you're looking for a parlay piece, even I could see this this getting to the scorecards, and these are 2 pretty good fighters. I mean, I think Figlak is somebody who has impressed. He impressed against. Oh wait, never mind. I'm mixing him up with who's the other guy that's named Fig. He's an American who came on like he fought someone last second. Oh, Fugit.
Yeah,
Figlik and
yeah.
Fugit. I'm mixing up.
He's fought a
But
few
Figlik fought against Faris Zaim, and it
Mhm.
was like fine. It's gonna go to like I feel like if you're looking for parlay pieces, goes to decision here. And then Robbie, you're right. If you're holding a ticket plus 250 decision, Austin Hubbard, I think you would feel pretty good.
Yeah, I don't hate a shot at Hubbard. He hasn't fought since he lost to Halabon in the Ultimate Fighter in Boston, and he was winning that fight. What I remember until I believe he got caught in a submission. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, he was the super hyped up from Cage Warriors with a Cage Warriors champ, and then immediately loses to Faris Ziem in his debut. Faris Ziem has fought definitely a lot better in his last few fights, and I feel like he's trajecting in a positive light. But yeah, if I had to, I would play Hubbard if I had to.
Yeah, Faris Zaim. I mean, he's a guy that he has some pretty good wins if you look at it. I know it's
Who did he just beat someone decent? Was it
Puelas.
Who was it?
Puelas.
Who did you say?
Puelas. He fought
Claudio Puelas. That's right. Is he on a little streak? Like he beat someone before that, I thought too.
Yeah, the mechanics, Jai Herbert.
That's right. That's right.
And then
I bet Herbert in that fight, and I was pissed. That was a bad bet.
And then he has a win against Jamie Malarkey. But he's a decent fighter, but yeah, I think this fight we may find ourselves at a decision. And if you look at Figlak, he's not really a killer, and neither is Austin Hubbard. And even that fight for Austin Hubbard against Halabal, he got caught with a triangle choke. He was before that. I mean, it's just these are 2 decision fighters.
And the next fight is the prelim headliner, and it's another one where the odds aren't even close. It's what's his name? Victor Henry, minus 425 against Ronnie Yaya, plus 330. We'll see Victor Henry, I guess. It'd be cool to see him fight.
Coming off getting his balls kicked off.
Yeah.
And then what's his name? Fucking one of the 2 brothers saying basically Basharat.
Oh yeah.
Saying that it was basically that it was faking it when he literally got soccer kicked in the ball sack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was literally dying. Was throwing up blood.
Yeah. There was that back and forth too, where he's like, I got kicked in the nuts. And they're like, no, you didn't. He was like, I did.
Oh yeah, the rep said it to him.
Yeah.
The doctor.
He's like, no. He's like, it was above the waist or something.
Yeah.
He's like, what? No.
And then I remember Basharat went on Instagram and zoomed in on it and was like, "This is bullshit. I want this as a win. I want my win bonus." And everyone was. And then I think Victor Henry had to go as far as like posting his like the
It
results
was like
from the doctor.
hospital
Yeah,
stuff, right? Yeah.
like I actually got hit in the ball.
Like
He was
that. Imagine
throwing
being
up blood.
gaslit like that.
Yeah,
That-
Basharat was acting like he wanted that fight to be like a KO.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he
Like
wanted.
he was like robbed of like a liver kick, like knockout. Like, God, you kicked him square in the nuts.
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen a more clear kick to the balls in my life.
Probably like one of the most brutal I've ever seen in MMA in terms of like I've never
Brutal.
seen someone writhing in pain like that, like screaming out loud. That was bad. But yeah,
Yeah,
I think
so-
he's going to win this fight. Obviously.
I also would, yeah, and then there's another fight that.
It's like what can you even
I'm
say
sorry.
about this?
I'm
fight?
sorry. We're
What
on a run here.
analysis can you have?
I'm sorry. We could really look at. So we're gonna have two bangers to start. Mashate against Gabriel Benitez. I think there'll be a death there. Naliang, Ivana Petrovic, fight of the night. Naliang will get the victory. Then we're gonna have Lontop Padilla, Souza Man, Dantel Mays, Chow Machado, Austin Hubbard, Mikhail Filak, and Yaya against Victor Henry. I think we're going decision. Like it's just boring. But
That might be a decision parlay might be fun.
Yeah.
Like give you something to root for in those fights.
this is the last fight though before, like Ab said,
Yeah.
then the card starts to get like I think actually pretty good.
Yeah.
To be honest, the card could be stacked with fights like this, and we'd still watch or whatever. But I'm with Hot Billy. So over Ronnie. Yeah. Like I'm over him too. Victor Henry, I could see this like around 3. His just volume is just way too much. He doesn't punch hard, but sometimes like you just punch somebody so many times with significant strikes. The guy's just like no mas. Like I can't do it anymore.
Then on to the main card. We kick things off in the welterweight division. Tim Means will take on Eros Medic. Good fight. Tim Means is plus 245, Medic minus 305. Maybe it's just the idiot in me. If I see Tim Means plus 245, I think I give him a sprinkle. Not a full $5 unit for me, but I think I give him a sprinkle.
Bob, I'm with you. I'd take a shot at the Dirty Bird.
Yeah.
Medic, even Medic, his last fight, like he was getting smoked by Semmelsberger and then kind of just like landed a big shot and like finished it late in like I want to say it was the 3rd round. And I thought there was, if I remember correctly, I thought there was a moment in the 1st round where Semmelsberger had him like really close to being out of there.
I think there was too.
This is one of those where Medic like definitely hits hard, and your 245 ticket could just get like get its head knocked into the 3rd row. But I think there's worse bets you'll make. I'll definitely make worse bets this year than Tim Means plus 245, without question.
Yeah, I keep going back and forth here. Like I kind of think like Eros could just really roll.
He could. That's definitely. And
I don't want to be like disrespectful to Tim Means, but I think it's kind of over. It's just but I don't know.
He looked good his last fight. That's the only reason that
he did.
I'm like hanging on to him for just by
he did. You're right.
Because he knocked out what's his name? Fucking the Portugal guy. Fiallo. Andre Fiallo.
Yeah.
Who's like it's not like an amazing win, but it's not like a bad, like it's like he's beaten like some like decent guys in the UFC. Like it's not a horrible win. It's a solid.
And then before that, I mean, his losses were Kevin Holland, Max Griffin, Alex Morono. I mean, those aren't bad losses by any means.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I guess yeah. It will be. Here's the thing: Tim Means brings it every time. It's just like he's 40 years old. It's tough. Like
old man strength.
Old man strength, but 40 years old, fighting at 170 pounds. Like it's just, it may not be the best. It's never the odds are stacked against you, as we see with the line.
I mean, Medic is minus 120 by knockout. Also, Tim Means was was pounding his fist on the table for big bonuses this week on the media day.
Oh, was he?
He was saying he was like, what do you want up to? He was like 300 sounds good. He was like, they did three. He was like, you want to see guys go to war at the Apex? 300K bonuses. Like, let's
That's
do
a
it.
good
Like, really
point.
gas it up. Which obviously it's not gonna happen. But
Yeah, no.
with
Discard,
inflation,
imagine.
they've been 50K a while. Like I
They
think
have
it's
been.
I think it's about time make them 100. Like I think that's
That'd be
reasonable.
sweet.
I
That'd be
think
really
that's
cool.
reasonable. I don't think
I
that's
think it
like
would make fights better.
I think so too. I think like 100K is like because even the 50K, I think guys would rather like almost play it safe and make like guarantee their win money.
Yeah.
Whereas if you put 100
100K,
on it,
like for a lot of like new fighters, that's life-changing money.
that's what I'm saying. Like you put 100K, like that's like they're like can buy like a house.
Yeah.
Like you're talking like serious, like they win that bonus, like somebody like that's like you said, that's huge, absolutely huge.
Yeah.
Where 50, like after taxes, like you're taking home like 25, like that's like in New York City, like that's not even like a year of rent.
No. As Billy Football says, dudes can't buy houses.
Yeah, it's crazy. 100K bonuses, then maybe they could.
Next fight, Jonathan Pierce versus David Onama. Another one with, close-ish odds. Onama plus 124, Pierce minus 148. You have any strong opinions on this one, Ev? Because I really don't.
I do, and it's like it's scary, but I do. I mean, Jonathan Pierce, I feel like I'm hesitant. The line keeps going down like against him, and I don't really understand why. Like it was short, like it was at this like price like earlier, and then it went like up, it ballooned up to like 180, and then now it's came like all the way back down to 150. I mean, guys have like Onama hits like a truck, and Pierce's last performance was bad. Like Joe Anderson Brito kind of just like beat the shit out of him and then like end up club and subbing him basically, but was like beating him up. So that concerns me with the power, that if you can't take the power, but I just genuinely feel like you're getting a discount on Pierce here. I mean, also Onama like has not been like he's been taken down by a lot of guys that I think are not nearly like the wrestler grapplers that Pierce is. Remember Landwehr was on top of him, like literally had him mount like multiple times. It was literally like letting him up to like put on a show. Like a bunch of guys have like had takedown success against him that I think are not as good as Pierce. So I would bet Pierce. I think I'm going to bet Pierce.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but JSP was looking good against Brito, and then he like found this random ass choke, right?
I'm pretty sure he ended up getting like. I need to rewatch it. I haven't watched it recently, but I
thought it was like it was kind of like a meme finish, like in a way that was like.
I thought Pierce might have assist early, but I could have swore he ended up. I thought he ended up getting like he did get like clipped, but I feel like he also kind of got like clipped and then was like basically getting like beat up for like a little bit and then show. But maybe I'm misremembering it a little bit. But I thought it was not quite like it was meme in the sense that like people probably going to the fight did not expect it to go that way. But I thought, if I remember it right, I thought he got like hurt like kind of a couple times and then got like hurt bad. And was getting kind of beat up and then choked out. But maybe I might be not remembering it totally correctly.
Yeah, it doesn't matter because we're on the same side here. I think JSP has like a really like you're getting him at a discount price here, and also there's a chance he gets caught. Onama's like he hits hard, and I like Onama. This is good matchmaking in my opinion. But it's funny watching Bob drink it with two hands. It's always funny to see somebody drink it like I know why with those because they'll spill on you.
These things are fucking huge, yeah. Souvenir cups. I got a bunch of souvenir cups, yeah.
All that being said, I'm with you on JSP, and I think it's probably my favorite pick of the card, or one of. Not like I don't have a lot of picks that I'm like in love with. So that's not saying much, but I do like JSP.
And then the next fight, I think we have another debut, right? This guy Janota Denise.
Yep.
Is he a Contender Series guy? He is, right?
I think so.
Let me see.
He might
No,
not.
I thought he was.
I was gonna say I was
He
trying in my
is.
head. I was trying to remember his fight, and I can't remember it.
He apparently
Oh,
is.
yeah,
He
he
beat
fought
Eduardo
Eduardo.
Nunez or Neves.
Okay,
Knocked him out in the first round with a jab and right cross.
he's minus 200 in this fight by knockout,
Oh my God.
and he's
He's
minus 340 money
minus
line.
340. Yeah. Austin Lane plus 270. Another one. What can you break down about it? I don't know anything about this guy really.
Yeah, I know Austin Lane like decently well. I mean, he's just former NFL guy. I think it was
Yep.
his last fight. He got knocked out badly by one of the Taffas, like viciously knocked
Was
out.
he any good in the NFL? I assume not
No,
because he
no,
made
no,
the change
no.
to MMA.
No, he was in the league for maybe like a year or two tops. Yeah, I mean he's big, like obviously kind of like big athletic guy, but he probably gets knocked out here. I don't know. I don't know if I'd bet like I'm not betting minus 340 on this heavyweight or
Yeah.
even minus 200 by knockout, but I would say I understand why the line is what it is.
Yeah.
And then, oh yeah, go ahead, Jack. Sorry.
I would just say, it's tough. It's like, how do you rate experience specifically for a guy like Lane? That's really like, what is his experience? He kind of just may not be that good, and like, I don't even think Deniz is that good, to be quite frank with you. I kind of am enticed by Austin Lane by KO plus 380, but maybe I'll get there by fight time. I'm definitely not putting Deniz in any of my like parlays or anything. Like I would obviously, if you put a gun to my head, I would pick him to win, but the line's so wide. It's a debuting fight. Lane, I know hasn't been great, but he's been in there with fighters like in the UFC. How is Deniz going to react? I know it's at the Apex, but minus 340 is big, and this isn't a guy that's like, oh my God, what a prospect. So I kind of look at Austin Lane as a guy that you never know. I mean, he could find something, and but that being said, what we've seen him in the UFC is Justin Tafa with the eye poke, and then they ran it back, and he just got knocked out.
Yeah.
What about the only thing I was looking at? Maybe if you do like the Lane side, I mean Denise. I was just looking double clarify. It's just all first round knockouts. Maybe like a Lane like round 2 sprinkle plus like 900.
Yeah.
Round 3 sprinkle plus like maybe like sprinkle eats like 900 and round 3 1600. If you think maybe he can kind of just like avoid the shot and tire him out for 5 minutes, and then maybe Denise has literally never fought in MMA more than I think like 4 minutes basically.
Yeah, maybe we could it is something that, I mean, you look at Austin Lane, and he has gone to like in Fury FC back in 2021, he did make it into the 4th round and won with punches then. So maybe he can show that cardio, stretch it out a little bit. Denise kind of tires out, and I kind of like that even better than the KO.
There you go. And then the next one is Karine Silva versus Ariane Lipski. Lipski is plus 136, Silva minus 162. I don't hate Lipski just as an underdog there. If you're going to play anything here, play the underdog. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
I kind of like Silva.
Oh, you do? Yeah.
I think I'm going to bet Silva. I think she's kind of legit. Yeah, I was thinking even maybe some props on her potentially. I mean, she's pretty well rounded. I wouldn't be shocked if Karine Silva got a finish.
Yeah, no. I look at this is a fight that, like, I see fit like a finish for either side, to be completely honest.
They're both plus 350 by knockout.
Under 2.5 is minus 160.
Yeah, so I mean, like, it's not crazy me saying that, but I mean, like, like Karine Silva doesn't make it to the 3rd round, like, ever. Like, she just doesn't. And then Ariane Lipski, she'll make it to decision, but I mean, like, she goes for finishes, like she'll even like maybe. So these girls are both really good submission artists, and they don't really get finished by sub. That's why I kind of look at Silva. If you like Silva, her by KO, I think is a really enticing play, and it's one of my favorite props on the card. Silva by KO plus 350, even Silva round 1 KO, round 2 KO. Round 1 KO, Silva plus 650, round 2 KO, 11-1. Because I don't think she'll find a submission. I think her win equity is really heavy on KO.
She always say, look, even like Lipsky, she's on a 3-fight win streak. But before that, she lost 3 of 4, and they all were by, or 2 of the 3 were by, no, they all were by knockout. All of her losses were by knockout.
Yeah.
Like she lost to the Kashwara by knockout, De La Rosa by knockout, Antonia Shevchenko by knockout.
Mm-hmm.
De La Rosa and her were both ground and pound. I remember that Shevchenko one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that's a good call. I like Silva. I think that's a good call with the knockout.
Yeah, and like I think that low key maybe like we should start doing like a prop of the card. I think that's our like favorite prop, to become completely honest. At least it's mine.
I like that.
And I think it's kind of like these two girls are gonna go at it, and and I just don't see, even though Silva has won via submission, these are two really good. I mean, they're both Brazilian. They're just very good at defending submission. So like just ground and pound, I could see it really happening, and then a nice little cash on the main card.
And then the co-main event of the evening, Ryan Spann takes on Bogdan Guskov. Ryan Spann minus 175, Guskov plus 145. One way I probably like Ryan Spann here.
I've seen some love for Ryan Spann, and in all due respect, Guskov gives me sometimes there's these fights I look at, I'm like, could Guskov like, I think his win equities round 1, round 2, and I think he could find a way to get a finish, maybe a KO. He throws hard. He kind of has that look where it's just like the man will be able to take some punches. But then again, Guskov's first fight in the UFC is, you kind of look at this fight and you're like, it could go the same way. Like Volkan kind of just ran through him. And not every fighter that you fight is Zach Palga. So Ryan Spann's a little bit better. Obviously a lot more like Volkan Ozdemir than Zach Palga. But still, you look at this from an odds perspective, specifically on the props, a round one finish for Guskov by KO plus 320. I don't know. It's a little bit enticing to me. I think he could find an overhand right. The guy goes for it.
Yeah, I do. I like Spann. I would lay the minus 175. That's probably what I'm gonna do. I don't even mind to sprinkle it on the submission plus 200. I mean, Jack just mentioned it. Just like Ozdemir, like subbing him round 1, I think says a lot. I mean, in terms of like, he just sees like a clear mismatch there. And Spann has had submissions. Like, he's not like just like some slouch in the ground. Like, he definitely is capable. Like, he's had submissions in the UFC. He submitted Kutalaba in the last like 2 years, I think. I think Spann wins here. I mean, I feel like we're getting a lot of hype on Guskov because he knocked out Zach Palga, who's I just don't think is like very good. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. Like, I think they obviously believed in him. Like, giving him Ozdemir for his debut. Obviously, they like him. Like, the UFC felt like they definitely thought they had some like promise with him. And then he goes and gets finished the first round. Then it's such a dramatic step down with Palga. He lands the knockout, but I'm not. Yeah, like I said, I'm not a Palga guy. I would lay the juice with Spann. I think it's worth just like literally on DraftKings right now. Money line, he's minus 175, and finish, he's minus 165. Like, just play the money line. Like, if you're gonna and then I think plus 200 on the sub is worth a stab if you don't want to lay like juice.
And then the main event for the evening, Nicolau versus Perez. Nicolau is minus 180, Perez plus 150. I'm going to be honest, I don't have as much of a read on this one. Like, I'm surprised the odds are this wide. Maybe I'm a fool for that. I thought this would be more of like a pick 'em, and it's not like the odds are wide. We've seen a lot of fights on this card with actual wide odds, but um, I don't know. Like, because I think it's close, I'd probably play Perez plus 150.
Yeah, I was a good. I went very back and forth on this. I'm not like super opinionated as well. Go ahead, Jack. If you got like a feel, like a
Yeah, I think my biggest feel is goes the distance, or
You could see that, yeah.
like even a Nicolau sub. Uh, those are my two leans. Uh, obviously, they kind of are contradicting each other, but you look at you look at this and over 4.5 plus 105 right now. I kind of a Nicolau by sub 3-1. We've seen Perez subbed, even though he's pretty good on the ground, but he gets himself in tough situations. We could even see Nicolau kind of hurt him and maybe get a submission, but it's nothing that I have the biggest read. This isn't a card that I'm just like, you know, I just have all these reads right away.
I don't hate that the under 4.5. It's minus 135.
you
I
like
don't
the
hate
under,
that
yeah.
because Perez is so tough because he obviously didn't fight for so long. I actually thought he looked pretty good against Makayev. He lost, and I bet him at like a decently big number, and I think I would make that bet again tomorrow.
Yeah.
Betting Makayev, like I thought he handled himself well. I think Nicolau is a much more dangerous like striker than Makayev is. But yeah, I don't hate like even like some like Makayev like either or excuse me Nicolau like a knockout or like sub props. I don't think are like the worst. But yeah, under 4.5, I don't think it's bad. I guess I do lean Nicolau, but I'm not like super opinionated on it. I don't think Perez is like I said, I thought he looked actually pretty good in his last fight, all things considering the layoff and he had like a seizure they talked about and a lot of stuff, like all the canceled fights. So I thought he showed himself pretty well. And I think it's promising that he had a fight like that and then wanted to like kind of get right back in the cage.
Yeah.
So I'm very like hesitant because I think it wouldn't shock me at all if Perez won this fight. So not super opinionated on it.
All right, there you go. That was the card. Shout out to DraftKings New Amsterdam for sponsoring the show, as always. And
Maybe
yeah,
Perez by decision. I guess you did say under 4.5, but Perez 5-1 by decision. Is there like an exact method for like by split decision? That'd be an interesting.
Also, this is an earlier card. It's 4 p.m. prelim, 7 p.m. main card. So look out for that. Don't miss the card. All right. We'll talk to you guys after the card, probably.
Yep. See ya.